and the transactions become transparent. After all, we are all moving towards a situation where transaction should be transparent. Because just a few minutes ago I heard you are all contributing to nation building. If nation building has to take place, transparency is the most essential accounting and reporting basis. And I think unless we have this international tax language, I mean, that's a very nebulous concept. It is for you to develop, where transparency can be supreme and transactions will be available to all the countries for proper taxation and thereby development of the country. Well, your role is of course quite tricky. You have to balance between the role as a contributor to nation building and also your loyalty, your responsibility to the client. And this has to be very delicately matched, and unless that is done, I think professional excellence cannot be achieved. I'm sure most of you are aware of that. Why I highlight the cross-border issues is because India has come into the international transaction status only for the last 10 years. We started our transfer pricing mechanism only in 2001, and we have traveled a long distance during the interregnum of 9 years. And we are now accepted as one of the countries which applies the TP mechanism in a very sustainable way all over the world. You know, among the OECD countries, among the UN forum, and even among the American, UK, US forum, India has got a place of importance. Why? Because our professionals and our tax administrators have taken care of the provisions of transfer pricing mechanism. But much more things have to be done. That is why in the new DTC, we have brought in two main concepts. On the one hand, we have brought in GAR, the General Anti-Avoidance Rule, to safeguard the interest of revenue. And on the other hand, the mechanism of APA, Advanced Pricing Arrangement, and the safe harbor rules, so that there is a balance between aggressive tax planning and also taxpayer-friendly measures. If this can be appreciated by all of you and applied in a very serious manner, I'm sure the revenues will be substantially high, both for the center and the state. So this is what we have planned. In fact, while formulating the DTC, we took into account all the industry concerns, all the concerns expressed by the chartered accountants and other professional fora, and I think we have done a reasonably good job, because the feedback which we get is not that all critical, but more of a modificatory nature. So we feel protecting aggressive tax planning has been the problem in international taxation. So we brought in GAR, but it will be tempered with proper rules, regulations, and also guidelines. So I think there will be nothing to worry about the implementation part of GAR. At the same time, for the honest, for the straightforward assessee, we have to provide a safe harbor and also some mechanism by which the prices are determined earlier. So I think these two provisions in the DTC will be bringing in a revolution in international tax concept and also in international tax assessments. Why? You may be wondering why I am speaking only about international taxation. Because our concern now is mostly with cross-border transactions. We had the Vodafone issue, we have the Microsoft issue, we have the Samsung issue, all running to hundreds of crores of revenue. At the same time, we have to provide a balanced taxation avenue to the honest taxpayer. And once we take care of the small taxpayer by a moderate rate of tax, I think 90% of the small taxpayer will be taken care of. When we had a study, we found the first slab of that 10% or whatever it is, which consists of, takes care of almost 90% of our tax-paying public. And in the DTC, we have put up the provisions in such a way that the salary, the house property, and other income, they are very simply tabulated. And they need not go into the rules and the schedules. The rules and schedules are meant for the corporates and the high net worth individuals. So I think we are moving towards an era of simplicity, transparency, and also taxpayer-friendly administration. Of course, I do admit we have to go a long way. Our TDS administration is not yet fully complete. Our processing of return is not yet fully, foolproof. But we have made a strong beginning. And I think our AS 26, which takes care of your TDS payment, has been reasonably successful in a very short period of time. So what I mean to say is, between the profession and the tax administrator, there is going to be less of a bridge and more of a sort of convergence. And I'm sure this will help in revenue mobilization. And I'm very happy that your IFRS convergence is a very slow-going affair. Because it is for you to consider and perhaps to think deeply whether we are equipped enough to implement the IFRS in all its full measure. My feeling is we are not. Perhaps because of international compulsions, you may have to invoke it in a few cases in a very singular, exemplary fashion. But as far as the income tax department is concerned, and also the normal assessee is concerned, I think, it is my opinion, pure personal. I don't know how the profession looks upon it, but I think you are also going slow. And that is required because we can't go ahead with a revolutionary accounting practice when all other systems are not attuned to that shift or takeover. I think you are conscious of that. So, I don't want to give a long speech or anything. What we are aiming at is a very transparent tax administration, and we require your contribution and your help in making it more transparent and more meaningful. I'm sure you can rise to the occasion because your skills, your professional excellence remains undisputed. And on our part, we are moving towards a regime where things will be simpler, things will be more on the system, and things will be more understandable to the common man in a very simple language. And I'm sure if this trend goes on, the collection from the revenues would be substantial maybe in the next 5 years to come. Because nobody imagined from 2001 to 2010, the growth of taxes would be substantially high as we witness now. from 1 lakh crore to 4 lakh 30,000 crores. And look at the indirect taxes. They are also growing at a faster pace of 44%, which is something phenomenal. So, taxes are bound to grow, economy is growing, and your role as a watchdog, I repeat, watchdog is more important. Because even though you may be in the back office preparing the accounts, monitoring the accounting practices, but your role in the corporate governance is very, very important. Of course, the Satyam fiasco may be a contribution of so many factors. We can't blame any one single person for the fiasco. But